It's unethical. Before we turn to Proverbs chapter 3, drink up. No, totally sober. Stone cold sober. Most of you. I can tell you from somebody that flew a lot, you get the people to help you more if instead of yelling at the American Airlines lady, you say, pretend I'm your brother. Want to hear how I got on a flight one time? Before me and Adalis were married, her youth pastor, Max Marcuse, had a dinner at his house with her and some girls from the youth group, but he was basically having it so I could have dinner with her. And I liked her a lot. I don't know what happened since then, but I used to like that lady. So I had a connection in Washington, D.C., but my flight was delayed. So I was 33rd on the standby list. And it wasn't even that big of a plane, so that I've got no chance of getting on. So this, I know you're not supposed to say this stuff, but she was a large black lady, and she looked like she had dealt with very mean people all day and was in no mood. So I had an idea. It had to be the Holy Ghost, because to make her laugh was supernatural. I walked up and I said, hey, my name's Jonathan Shuttlesworth. She said, if you need to get on the standby list, then they'll already have your name up there. And I said, no, I know. I said, I saw that I'm already on the list. I'm 33rd. She went, well, if you're asking to get bumped up, I'm not doing it. I said, no, I want to do that. I just wanted to tell you that the 32 people that are ahead of me in line, I just all heard them at the gate, and they were saying really bad stuff about you, so I just thought you should know. She put her hands on her belly, threw her head back, and started laughing her head off. And then, during boarding time, passenger Jonathan Shuttlesworth, please report for ticket. And I looked across at you like this. A merry heart doeth good like medicine. I'm going to tell you another big lady I made laugh one time. I went to Maui to preach at James Morocco's church, which was the biggest speaking opportunity I'd ever had in my life at that time. There would be about 1,500 people there. I opened my suitcase, and I had like a Barbasol shaving cream, the kind that you put on your bathtub and it rusts a hole through to the basement. I had that in my suitcase, and the pressure exploded it. So James Morocco's a suit and tie guy. He's old school Assemblies of God. I had only packed one suit and one shirt and tie, and the thing exploded on my suit pants, and there's not even a place. Back then, there was no place to buy suit pants in Maui. And even if I could, I couldn't afford it. So I'm like, I preach like in 5 hours. What am I going to do? So I knew I needed to get it cleaned. I couldn't go to a dry cleaner that outsourced their dry cleaning because I needed it done like right now. So I found a dry cleaner that had the machines on site. I go in. This lady, who had the same exact attitude as the American Airlines lady, walked out from the back, staring me down like, do you want to draw? How can I help you? I said, I need these. I said, my shaving cream exploded in my suitcase, and they ruined my pants. I need them clean. She said, if you drop them off now, I'll be ready in 2 days. I said, I'm preaching tonight, which did not seem like it mattered to her, at King's Cathedral. I said, the service starts at 6 o'clock. And I could tell she's getting ready to tell me, like, I don't care. And I went, listen, I know you've had a lot to do, but I don't know whether you know this or not. But if I preach tonight with no pants on, Christian people are super legalistic if you show up in your underpants. She put both her hands on her belly, threw her head back and started laughing. Never said a word, ripped the pants out of my hand, waddled to the back, came out in 8 minutes, and went, get out of here. The joy of the Lord is your strength. Why so serious? Why so serious? A merry heart doeth good like a medicine. Hope you're having a nice drive home from church in the Midwest, and hope you're having a good time watching me with an earbud in church. Develop good judgment. Everybody say good judgment. You know, your first wife may have been a jerk. after your third divorce, maybe you're the one that doesn't have great judgment. Can you say amen? No offense to the 20% of the people watching online. You know, one time, maybe this is when I quit caring whether churches and religion would notice me or not. Is one time they did do an appreciation thing for me at a church I was ministering at, and they gave me a Starbucks gift card. And back then, I was like 21, and I liked Starbucks a lot, and I didn't have that much money. So I was like, man, that's great. Thank you. So I went straight to Starbucks and got a white chocolate mocha. Don't get this right. I don't drink this anymore, because then I found out they're like 9,000 calories. So I ordered a venti white chocolate mocha, a couple extra shots of espresso. And when it came time to pay, I gladly turned my Starbucks card over, and they said that'll be $3.17. I said, yeah, but I'll give you that card there to pay for it. They said, no, there was $5 on it. You still owe $3.17. I think I'm going to seek the honor that comes from God rather than 2/3 of one coffee paid for in Jesus' name. Then the Assyrian king, 2 Kings 18:19, sorry, 2 Kings 18:19. Then the Assyrian king's chief of staff told them to give this message to Hezekiah. Hezekiah is the king of God's people, and they're being threatened. This is what the great king of Assyria says. Imagine having the nerve to talk about yourself like that. Can you imagine just announcing that? This is what the great pastor of Revival Today Church has to say. I would never stop projectile vomiting. Okay, here's breaking news right here. Great to have everybody on, by the way. Everyone except Faith Shropshire. The president's detail had several female agents within the inner ring. The purpose of a protective agent is to shield the principal, and if necessary, physically lift and extract the principal in the event of a catastrophic event. That's right. The only thing those broads were going to physically extract was a casserole. By the jammer gun into her badge. Look at it, like Panic Central. Where's my sunglasses? Back it up 20 seconds again. Thank God for DEI. Pause. What fitness test did that lady on the left? What pie eating contest do you have to win to be a part of the Secret Service? No offense to you or your family. Continue. I am 4'10", 171. I'd like to be in the Secret Service. Good to see they dropped the sit-up requirement. And is there water here? No, it's good. I have a $3 million ministry, and I have to share a bottle of water with my daughter. That's good. Feel good. Let me see King James. Be it far from thee, Lord, this shall not be unto thee. I bet you the other disciples were like. See, there's nobody that if you're not careful, you won't get too familiar with. Start talking to them like they're your buddy or whatever. Even like my Uncle Ted or my dad. They're my dad and my uncle, but they're also a minister, and we're talking ministry. We're not on par. They're higher than me. And so then Jesus didn't let it slide. But Jesus turned and said, first, one translation says he looked at the other disciples first, like, let this be a lesson to everybody, and then turned to Peter and said, get thee behind me, Satan. I don't think it's Christ-like to speak to someone like that. I mean, Peter left everything to come follow him, and then he actually called him Satan. You don't have to put him on blast like that. There's a way to deal with it, Jesus could learn to be more Christ-like. He's Christ. Pastor Enoch Attaboye, the head of the Redeemed Christian Church of God. They were, this guy, this dictator at the time in Nigeria had taken control of the whole government. It's usually not good when your president has a beret. Just something I've put together from my limited knowledge of history. And if he combines it with Ray-Bans, a lot of people are going to die. So this guy This guy's got a beret and Ray-Bans. I think when a dictator sets up shop, doesn't matter how poor the country is, a sunglass hut opens there.
She's very well known. Amber Rose started as a stripper. Okay, that's the big controversy about her, is that she started.
Who hasn't started as a stripper? Am I right,
It's funny
folks?
to see, because a lot of the.
Not only am I just want to go on record on today's program, not only am I against DEI, I'm against women in the workplace. I'd like to go back to 1800s laws where we have a child labor ban. Why can't you have a ban against broads being in the workforce? No offense to 3 of the 4 people in the studio with me today.
And revealed the secret of his strength to her. This led to his capture, blindness, and eventual death. I mean, you talk about a numb in the head. You got a girlfriend that says, hey, what's the secret of your strength? If you bind me with new ropes, then I lose all my strength. If you wake up in the morning bound with new ropes, you might want to break up. He just wrote everything off. Oh, it happens. We've all bound people with new ropes. 4-star Westin Hotel in New Jersey. I pulled in and get out of the car thinking, I must have pulled into the wrong place. And I get out and the guy goes, sir, may I help you? The only time I had ever been called sir at that point is if it was followed by, we're going to have to ask you to leave. I really don't have any friends. Look at all the potential friends. There's a lady that asked at a place I went, I don't have any friends. Can you pray that God will give me friends? So I'd watch her. She's in the services here, and when you say in Jesus' name on the prayer, when you got to in, you're not going to meet any friends. What do you think? Hey, wait, let me be your friend. Let me be. That's a stalker. So even that Falcon 50 that was given to us, you'll have people say, what's the next plane you're going to get? I know I've had this one for a whole 10 months, but I'm actually enjoying this. I used to have a Toyota Camry with 212,000 miles on it. Thank God we have a Falcon 50, but we should have an airliner. I don't want an airliner. I don't even take that many people on the plane with me. Pastor Rodney Howard-Browne takes as many people as possible. One time I saw many people he was having on the plane. I said, why do you take so many people? He went, I hate empty seats. I said, it's not a revival meeting. I don't like empty seats either at a revival meeting. It's a plane. I'm not trying to grow the crowd. Praise God. The flight was extended. We had people come in and getting saved.
It's amazing how people that don't fast will knock fasting. Then when you do any kind of fasting, they give you a hard time about it. Isn't that like your second orange juice today? Yeah. Sorry. I know you haven't had 2 orange juices. I'm sure you'll get a special less orange juice crown in heaven.
But a tenth plus an offering comes from that business out to build churches, to build Bible schools, and to do crusades. Yeah, thanks for the smattering of applause. I just got a 6 on a par 4 at the Masters. And started preaching there. Now think of this. This was before Facebook Live. This was before YouTube Live. Waving to me. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming. You may resume your video game. Because that's what I'd be doing if I wasn't preaching. Does your plumber come to your house? Man, I've been fixing sinks all day. Yeah, you're a plumber. What do you think you're going to do, stomp on mushrooms and kill Bowser? Little Mario Brothers joke. So,
I bet of all the tribes of Israel, Dan was the coolest, because Dan just sounds cool. So we're from the tribe of Dan.
How many of you are glad this guy in the black polo shirt's on our side? Amen. As he was walking up, I was glad he's not coming to break my jaw. Father, we give thanks for so many things today. Thank you that this large son of a gun in the second row is a born-again Christian. I would kill myself before I would have an 8 o'clock service. Now, I'm not going to kill myself. If you hear that I did, it was Hillary Clinton. I'm telling you right now. Also going to do Arizona, because I was looking on a map, it's only about that far away. So I'll just hit it both at the same time when we go out that week. But we'll have it, and it'll be free parking and everything. If you came Sunday night and had to pay for parking, I apologize. I didn't know about that. It was an oversight. And we fired the person that works for our ministry that did that and deported them back to their country of origin, and that'll never happen again. How's the sound in the back? Can y'all hear me back in the lobby in hallway? All right, good. I can hear you a little bit. All right. We've got a rowdy crowd. They sat the bad kids in the back. It's like the back of the bus. And again, if you could get the heat turned up, I think it's only at about 88 or so. So just about, if you could tell the management, like 5 more degrees up, I think I'll be good. I've told this story before. It's not a fake story. I started off preaching in New England and Canada. And all the pastors, not all of them, but almost all of them, would tell me before I'd start preaching, the spiritual climate here is as cold as the winters. 2012, for the first time in my life, I got called to go preach in Arizona. I'd never been out west, ever. And as I'm flying there, I was actually thinking, well, at least I won't have to hear how the spiritual climate here is as cold as the winters. I had a connection, Pittsburgh to Dallas, Dallas to Phoenix. When I was changing planes in Dallas, my phone rang, and it was the pastor. He said, hello, Jonathan. Looking forward to having you in. All your flights on time and everything? I said, oh, yeah, looking forward to seeing you in the morning. He said, have you ever preached in Arizona before? I said, no, I've never been to Arizona. He said, well, you're going to find out when you get here. The spiritual climate's as dry as the desert. I thought, son of a gun. The devil's got a weather analogy to discourage every person, regardless of where they live. People that wanted to go into prison that have only been saved 8 months, I said, no, you need to, no, go. See how you do. If you get shanked to death, then it wasn't your thing.
That night, some of the leading citizens.
The following program contains political discourse, opinions, and footage that many viewers may find offensive. It should not be viewed by anyone ever.
In the dusty streets of Washington, D.C., a new posse rides in, led by the chief lawman Donald Trump with his steely resolve and determination. He is hell-bent on returning our nation back to her former glory. Beside him, J.D. Vance, the sharp-eyed, quick-witted right-hand hombre, is there to help him make America great again. Elon Musk, the tech-savvy inventor and steadfast champion of free speech, has plans to cut out the political pork that plagues our land. RFK Jr., the truth seeker, and Tulsi Gabbard, the fearless warrior, are determined to expose the lies the deep state has sold it for half a century. Then there's Russ Vought, the iron-willed regulator who will make sure President Trump's Agenda 47 is carried out and has the funds it needs to be successful. Pete Hegseth, the battle-hardened patriot, fights to defend the values that built this country. Together, they aim to cleanse the capital of its corrupt varmints, to uproot the deep state, and to restore justice to a land long overrun by shadowy outlaws.
No, make no mistake. It's not revenge he's after. It's a reckoning.
What if you had it all, but nobody to call? Maybe then you'd know me. 'Cause I've had everything, but no one's listening, and that's just f***ing lonely. I'm so lonely. Everybody knows my past now, like my house was always made of glass. And maybe that's the price you pay for the money and fame at an early age. What if you had it all, but nobody to call?
Welcome to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm Jonathan Shellsworth. Final day here. Hope to see you at 7 o'clock tonight here at the Sonesta Milwaukee West Hotel. It's been a great week. Enjoyed meeting everybody. We got some Wisconsin representative apparel here. We got the Cheesehead hat, and Jeffrey Dahmer's from Milwaukee. And I know Milwaukee wants people to forget that, but apparently somebody that makes coffee says, you know what, enough time's passed on the murder and cannibalism. Let's make a funny mug. Dahmer's Deli, all natural, organic prime cuts. Hilarious, unless it was your kid that got chopped up, which I'm sure you don't find it that funny. But hey, we can all laugh about it. Now, let's today. Trump drains the swamp. I mean, he's going hard after it, and I think I sent in a bunch of media. Good crowd on today. Nice to see everybody. Let's check the news.
This USAID thing that's going on. You know, Mike Benz has been on that like a pit bull, and I've been following him on X, and he's going to come back on here and kind of explain everything. But he explained it the last time he was here, and I don't think I really grasped it until Elon's 6 wizards. He brought in some young wizards to go in there and go over the books, and they are just finding crazy shit. It's great, and it's so interesting. I was listening to a left-wing podcast today. I like to mix it up. You know, I listen to all kinds of different stuff, and it was like I was listening to a different world. Like, they weren't even talking about all of this corruption and all this obvious buying of influence. Instead, they were talking about aid overseas and how people are going to starve. And like,
it's mind-boggling, and there's also, I have to say, I'm upset at the general pattern of a failure to recognize how right those of us who hypothesized that there was a racket that had overtaken our entire governance structure, we turn out to be absolutely right about this, and no one's going to mention it. That's mind-blowing.
It's very strange that the media is ignoring it, especially the left-wing media. It's just too big of a win for the right, and so they're just ignoring it. And then they're just highlighting the good things that USA did, which I'm sure it probably did. Probably had to do some good things to like at least justify its existence.
As a cover story, I'm not even sure. Maybe it doesn't change anything. Obviously, this was a mechanism used to funnel money to all sorts of things that we didn't vote on, that don't make sense in light of our constitutional structure. And I obviously have concerns like everybody else about where this train takes us, but seeing that structure broken up it's a huge relief.
They gave $27 million to the George Soros Prosecutor Fund. So our own government is funding this left-wing lunatic who is hiring the most insane prosecutors who are letting people out of jail who commit violent crimes.
And that's exactly how this racket worked, that the ability to tax the American public and then effectively get us to pay for being propagandized, for being surveilled, that's the game. And I don't know what era we currently live in. Obviously, there's a lot that's confusing about what the Trump administration is up to, but I don't think any reasonable person could be unhappy that we are exiting that era.
I'm going to read off some of the things that this guy, Kanakota the Great, on Twitter listed. This is off the Jesse Watters show. USAID, $20 million for Iraqi Sesame Street, $2 million for Moroccan pottery classes, $11 million to tell Vietnam to stop burning trash, $27 million to give gift bags to illegals. $27 million. $330 million to help Afghanis grow crops. Crops. I wonder what those crops are. What's their biggest crop, Brett?
It's going to be the poppy seeds for bagels, I'm thinking.
$200 million on an unused Afghani dam, $250 million on an unused Afghani road. This is wild. I mean, some of this stuff is really, really crazy.
Well, yes, and, USAID is, of course, riddled through whatever international madness it is that caused us to open our southern border and facilitate an invasion through the Darien Gap. So, seeing that structure laid bare is it almost feels like it can't be real. Like it
it's
can't
crazy.
have been this close to the surface, and yet here we are.
They were spending, is this number correct? I think the number that I read was $600 million every 2 months to ship in illegals.
Sounds right. I don't know the number offhand, but
what the fuck?
well, you have to realize that basically we had a shadow apparatus functioning, and it involves all kinds of things. It involves payoffs to people who didn't deserve them. It involves contracting to entities that were necessary to get the work done. So I don't think we can properly understand what these numbers mean and what they're actually being used for, but it was a racket.
Well, we were always wondering, like, why is our debt so high? Why is the national debt so high? Like, why is our deficit so insane? Well, this is it.
Next. Kamala Harris went to the Lakers game and nobody cared. Roll it. Boss, to me, that's how you know the whole election stuff's a sham. Same with Biden. Trump can't go anywhere without getting mobbed, even like places where he loses the vote handily. He could walk into Harlem and it's like, the Source after party. And then Kamala and Biden, same thing. Anywhere they go, if there wasn't anybody paid to do it, no one cares. I remember when Joe Biden went to Sheetz and people just like glanced over and kept eating. It's all fake. Good to see you, Garrett. Next. All right, keep going. Sorry. Next. President Trump's next goal is to bring religion back. Trump stated Thursday, I really believe you can't be happy without religion. I just don't see how you can be. And cue all the charismatics in the comments saying, you don't need religion. But you understand what religion means to people is the church and God. It's good. Roll it. Article. Speaking at the annual National Prayer Breakfast on Thursday at the U.S. Capitol, President Trump urged, we have to bring religion back. From the earliest days of our republic, faith in God has been the ultimate source of strength that beats in the hearts of our nation. We have to bring religion back much stronger, Trump further stated, adding it's one of the biggest problems that we've had over the last fairly long period of time. We have to bring it back. During the speech, Trump also referred to the renewed faith he has experienced since the assassination attempt on him last year. It changed something in me. I feel even stronger. I believed in God, but I feel much more strongly about it, he declared. As we previously highlighted, Trump had said that he believes a miracle at the hands of God saved him from the would-be assassin's bullets. During the speech, the president further opined, I really believe you can't be happy without religion, without that belief. I really believe that. I just don't see how you can be. If we could ever come together, it would be unbelievable. It might not happen, but it should, and maybe it will, Trump pondered. He added, Thomas Jefferson himself once attended Sunday services held in the old House chamber on the very ground where I stand today. So there could be nothing more beautiful for us to gather in this majestic place to reaffirm that America is and will always be one nation under God. Faith has been very strong with the people in this room. Just steps away from here is in the Hall of Columns is a statue of John Winthrop, who famously proclaimed that America would stand as a city upon a hill, a light to all nations. With the eyes of all people upon us today, almost 400 years after that famous sermon, we see that with the Lord's help, the city stands taller and shines brighter than ever before, or at least soon will. It soon will, he concluded. Next, great speech. It's just, it's surreal that this is all going on. It's like, if one of these things happened in 4 years, it would be awesome. Banning of the transgenderism, transgender surgeries on minors. Like, if that was all that got accomplished in 4 years, that's a huge victory. Let alone the fact that there's going to be like a Trump Tower and a Buc-ee's on the Gaza Strip soon. Speaking of which, Netanyahu on Fox, the Trump plan is the first idea I've ever heard that's good. So he's not, he looked stoic when Trump was talking about America taking over, but apparently he likes it. We'll let him say it for himself. Roll it.
But the actual idea of allowing first Gazans who want to leave, I mean, what's wrong with that? They can leave, they can then come back, they can relocate and come back, but you have to rebuild Gaza. If you want to rebuild Gaza, you can't have, this is the first good idea that I've heard. It's a remarkable idea, and I think it should be really pursued, examined, pursued, and done, because I think it will create a different future for everyone.
Next. Israelis love Trump's plan for America to take over Gaza. So here's interviews in Israel. Roll it.
I'm Zach Sage, Fox Live from Israel. Just hours ago, President Trump said that the U.S. will take control of Gaza. Let's see what Israelis think of this shocking news.
I love it.
You think it's a good plan?
Yeah.
You like Trump?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Muhammad. He take the aggressive way to give
Could have guessed his name. Keep going.
peaceful solution.
What? And you didn't hear about this yet? No. All right, it's that breaking, yeah.
I don't really think he's being for real.
It's very good.
Back it up a little bit. So when he's asking those two. Back it up a little more. The teeth are like New York license plate yellow. What happened? Do you know you're outside? You think it's like the end of a 2-week summer camp when you're 11, haven't brushed your teeth. You're in public. Were you a hostage? Were you an October 7th hostage? Even they looked in better shape when they got released. Ugh. Keep going.
It's that breaking, yeah.
I don't really think he's being for real.
It's very good.
Wow. Is
that
it
a guy?
possible? I don't think it's a good plan. I don't know. You need to get the hostages back.
Do you think Trump then probably announced this prematurely? Do you think it was too soon?
Yes.
Do you think he should have waited till after the hostage?
Yes.
I think it's very good. It's a bad idea. It's a good idea.
That's good.
I think it's good.
Are you Jewish, Muslim, Arab?
I'm Christian.
Oh, you're Christian. Okay.
I think it's great.
I think the
Would you get
U.S.
lost?
need to be in charge in Gaza Strip.
Do you think it's a good idea for the U.S. to be in control, or do you think there's somebody else that'd be better?
I think that the U.S.
Shouldn't you be hijacking an oil tanker? Keep going.
because they had Gaza for like so much time and nothing happens from that.
As far as I can see, this is going great.
Somebody found the UN rations. Keep going.
The hostages got released, and it's all because of Trump. And
Now we know why none of the food's making it to the Palestinians.
I think not U.S. should be over Gaza, but not the Hamas.
It's good for Israel, but I don't think that he will be able to do it. It's
Vin Diesel just hanging out, giving his thoughts. Keep going.
over the top of his head, I think.
Hi, what do you think of Trump's plan to take over Gaza?
You're very חתיך.
Khatich? What's that mean?
חתיך, אתה לא יודע עברית.
קצת עברית, קצת עברית.
I got trust on Trump. He make the work. Don't worry.
What do you think? Do you like Trump?
I love him, Trump.
Do most Israelis like Trump?
Yeah.
I don't support Trump, but neither Kamala.
76 years, the only two presidents that didn't
Looks like Terry Thacker from our church if he was Hebrew. Keep going.
push a gun.
Who?
Bush Jr.
Bush Jr., BJ,
And Trump.
BJ,
And
love a
Trump.
BJ.
and Trump. All the other, that was not good for us.
What do you think of Trump?
Nothing.
Nothing?
That's a good. That's
Did
the
you serve in the
opinion.
IDF?
You should have at that age.
going to.
Oh, you're about to go to the
Yeah.
IDF. Are you scared to be going at a time of war?
No, I think it's the perfect time.
That's so different than the young people in America.
Yeah, I think it's because we live it every day.
She looks like she dipped her face in a tackle box. Keep going.
Israeli and I'm Jewish, so
you like Trump?
Yeah, because he loves Israel.
I like Trump.
Yes, in 2025, we must have someone that is not normal.
You think?
With balls to hold everybody.
You're holding Trump's balls?
Russia.
Here, I'll get
No,
one
I'm
ball,
not-
you get the other one.
I think it's impossible.
Why?
Because you cannot take population and put
Hello, every church lady. Keep going.
them in other place.
Excuse me, guys, really quick. What do you think of Trump's plan to take over Gaza? Just like people with dyed hair in America. Obviously, if the U.S. takes control of Gaza, we have a very pro-Israel president right now, but what happens if we don't? Do you think that could be a problem?
I don't know if U.S. should take control of Gaza,
Pause.
but it's like
I'm not in very good shape. Anybody seen my thin, clingy T-shirt? Keep going.
can be a great plan because if we will be control of Gaza, so the whole world will just
hate on Israel.
Yeah.
Is it better for U.S. or Israel to control?
Israel.
All the Arabs country around us support the Palestinians, and now they don't want to take them. So they're hypocrite. So just
That's
wanna
right.
help them and help them.
Good job,
give them
Vin Diesel.
support.
Yeah, support to destroy Israel. Yeah.
Yeah, but in the minute that they need to take them to themselves,
Yeah, they won't
and
do
to
it.
help them to get the job, they don't do it. So it's all hypocrite. It's
Do
they're
you
hypocrite.
think Trump will be able to get them to take the Gazans?
Well, I hope so.
I think maybe Trump will make Gaza great.
We're gonna make Gaza so great again. It's gonna be so beautiful. It's got a beautiful view
Guy's gonna
right
get
on the
stabbed.
ocean. The best strip, better than all the strip clubs and the casinos I had in New Jersey.
If it shouldn't be the U.S.,
Hey, from
what do you
New
think
Jersey, you
should?
can
Should
barely
it be
tell.
Israel? Should it be Arab neighboring states, the PLO?
I think that Egypt.
Actually, they came from Egypt.
I
They
know.
came.
Yeah, the Gaza Strip was Egypt until '67, and yet Egypt doesn't want any control over it. In fact, oppositely, They put a giant wall.
Judah and Samaria, they came from Jordan.
Why do you think they don't want to take Palestinians?
Because they know the problem. Inside, they know the problem. It will cost them the same thing that today.
And you want to know what the problem is? Is they're a death cult. They've been indoctrinated from the time they're children to kill Jews and kill any, that's how you know you're nuts, is when Iran's like, hey, just stay over there. Nobody will take them. Yemen, hey, you can stay in Gaza. They're like the crazy cousin that's been to jail like 11 times at a family reunion. It's like, yeah, he's part of the family. I want to go near him if I were you. Keep going, Vin Diesel.
Here in Gaza, that's what happened over there.
Historically, when Palestinians were put in other places, what happened?
We get a ruling on man or woman? I honestly can't tell. All I know is somebody should take a fire hose and a toothbrush to them. Good, you slimy, greasy-looking hermaphrodite. Keep going.
Happened was they just caused insurgencies and all that.
When they come over here, they're going to see the truth. What's the problem in Israel with Gaza?
Do you believe in peace? Do you think there could be peace?
Maybe someday.
Do you like being a Muslim Israeli?
I'd say so.
Hopefully. I think that the only solution really...
That's another thing people don't understand about Israel. What's the Jewish representation in the Gaza, in the Palestine government? 0. They'll kill you. And then I'd have to see the makeup, like the newest makeup. But the representation of Muslims in Israel is like very, very high. It's a great nation. It's hands down the best nation in the Middle East, which is like being the valedictorian of summer school, but it is a great nation. Keep going.
Is to find a way to love each other and to be able to exist with each other.
With the Jewish brain,
go to a
with
dentist.
Our brother Islam, the Middle East can be more than Tokyo. We can make the Middle East the most beautiful.
I love that, man. That's awesome.
Amazing.
Just peace. Thanks for watching. What do we see today from Israelis? Shock, support, and a stronger desire for peace than ever. See you next time.
Good. Have a nice trip back to Zara. Next. Trump comes out in support of shutting down USAID. USAID is driving the radical left crazy, and there's nothing, it's just all caps from now on. There's nothing they can do about it because the way in which the money has been spent, so much of it fraudulently, is totally unexplainable. The corruption is at levels rarely seen before. Close it down. What was the time on it? 8:50 in the morning. Just comes out firing. Next. Incoming tax relief. Roll it.
So these are the tax priorities of the Trump administration that the president has laid out for members in that meeting today. No tax on tips, which is obviously a very public campaign promise that the president made. No tax on seniors' Social Security. No tax on overtime pay. Renewing President Trump's 2017 middle-class tax cuts. Again, these are the president's priorities. Adjusting the SALT cap, eliminate all the special tax breaks for billionaire sports team owners, close the carried interest tax deduction loophole, tax cuts for Made in America products. This will be the largest tax cut in history for middle-class working Americans. The president is committed to working with Congress to get this done.
Next. And they're getting rid of the IRS agents, so you know they're serious about it. Roll it.
And I don't know about you, but as I was watching confirmation hearings, my sense was that the Elizabeth Warrens and the Bernie Sanders were dinosaurs who do not understand that the Earth has just been hit from outer space and that they don't live in the world that they are so used to. That their corruption
Pause. You know Rogan's close to getting saved because he now agrees with people like charismatics do. Back it up. That's a powerful word. Go ahead.
That their corruption was...
Hey, can I get that on the soundboard back home?
They're not used to that. They're used to having a whole phony journalistic layer that covers for them.
Right.
And that layer is gone, and the American public is awake, and it's angry, and rightfully so. And now it looks at Bernie Sanders, who, I remember the first time you and I spoke, you and I had both been Sanders supporters.
Yeah.
And now to see that same guy going after Bobby Kennedy, and, the feeble excuse, well, what if Bobby Kennedy becomes the head of HHS and people don't have access to prescription drugs? And it's like, dude, I just lived through COVID. it's not obvious to me that they wouldn't get healthier if they didn't have access to prescription drugs. Do you realize how corrupt those companies are and how nonsensical their science is? The science
Anybody else just amazed that within 4 years, things that if you said got you taken off every social media platform instantly are now just mainstream thought? It's insane. No one said stuff like this. I mean, you heard them. You and I were Bernie Sanders supporters. Now they're just doing a whole segment on how he's an idiot and needs to go away. Keep going.
Says that you actually get better if you take a statin based on some metric in your chart, right? So I'm not arguing that there aren't good pharmaceuticals. There undoubtedly are. But what's the net effect of our pharmaceutical obsessed medical culture? It's not obvious to me that it's positive. I think it may well be negative. And so anyway, again, I see Bernie Sanders and I see him reading from a script that is no longer relevant to the movie we're watching.
Next. Nancy Pelosi on the men. Roll it.
With my life experience and love for people, it was a natural fit. Seeing Nancy so happy warms my heart. And if you need your heart warmed too, come join us and make a difference together in someone's life.
Visiting angels, America's choice in home care.
Next. Okay, here's Canada. And if you're not Canadian, this is just Canada in a nutshell. Because just watch the no authority of the police officer. I'd like to know when the last time as a Canadian minister cast a demon out of someone. I don't think they could do it. We just ask you in Jesus' name to please vacate this body when you can. We say it in love. The guy just getting dominated by a criminal. Go. Now he's going to make up his decision. Actually, I don't want to get arrested. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get up. I'm going to give you a 4-year-old pony ride. Tasers, do it. Puts his sunglasses on while he's getting tased. I'd like to be friends with this guy. Not the best driver.
He just pulled his gun.
Pulled his gun. Won't use it.
He's gonna act.
He's fortunate that he didn't back. I've watched enough of these.
Holy shit.
I've watched the cop. See, he got hung. I've watched cops before do this and get hit by another car as they're just backing. I mean, you're in the middle of an intersection. That one car missed him. The guy's a dumb cop.
Who the fuck is honking?
See what I mean? There's cars. You're not paying it. You have no awareness of your surroundings. Guy has an axe. He's like a level 1 villain that doesn't have a full loadout. I'm going to put my jacket on while I'm being drawn on. It's getting nippy out. Hey, I got a gun on me. I'm a little chilly. How could you have any Oh, there's a taser number 2. Apparently that one still had some juice in it. Boy, those things take you out. But now he's getting up. Now you're out of tasers.
This is insane.
I mean, I find myself rooting for the guy in the brown jacket.
This is nuts.
I know we're all supposed to support the police, and I do, but not the Canadian police that barged in on churches and shut churches. You know, I don't really care, to be honest with you. However it works out, it works out. I have no dog in the fight. You mask enforcing addicted pansies.
5 cops on him right now.
5 on him.
What the fuck? Can we even turn the car? I don't even think you'll be able to.
Next. It's been a tough day for Hezbollah. Picture. Star David, you lost. Next. 6,000 journalists and 700 newsrooms received USAID money. It's a wonder all of them parrot the same news. Roll it.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about trouble and trying to get responsible one-sided news stories
plaguing our country.
The sharing of bias and false.
Now, you see why they were trying to get everybody shut down on Twitter and Facebook? Because the news is completely controlled until these platforms came out. So then anybody that broke any news that wasn't approved there,
they shut you down. I mean, man, we were this close to being finished. And now it's a new dawn. Continue.
News has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media...
Guy's got so much Botox, he can't even move his mouth. I was talking to this lady one time. She had so much Botox, I couldn't tell whether she liked me or not. So I said, how's this conversation going? I can't get a read. Are you enjoying this? You don't like me? Normally I go by the face, but you look like a JCPenney mannequin. Keep going, my Botox.
Publish the same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
False news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these stories simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, and some of you still turn it on at night. Jonathan, did you hear what the news is saying about you in Pittsburgh? Good. If these people were on my side, I'd be nervous. Keep going.
Platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 Let me guess, you got vaccinated. Keep going.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Thank you, Timu Christie. No.
Extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Thank you, Timo Octomom.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 Thank you, Count Chocula.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Next. Here we are live from the Phoenix Waste Management Open. Somebody's had too much to drink. We got a water hazard, 1-stroke penalty coming up. He had enough sense to drop his phone. I've heard, I was going to take my dad to that this year, actually, and he told me he didn't want to go. He said, that everybody's so liquored up. It's like worse than Mardi Gras now. That was the most popular event to go to get tickets for on the PGA Tour, and now there's like backlash to it where people don't want to go anymore. Because of that's a PGA event. Oh, they arrested him. Hey, whatever. Next.
Well, hello. It's Vegas Paulie C. and popular online gambler Exposed took to social media yesterday to express his pain at losing $3 million in Vegas yesterday. The Kickstarter did it live on the internet.
Doesn't take long.
$2 million of loss coming right here at Resorts World. It was the very first time the property has allowed a live stream of its games. He started with $100,000 in chips and kept reloading. What is absolutely fascinating about this is Exposed has a very large sponsorship deal with a site that is illegal in the United States called Roobet. You cannot even access this online crypto website without a VPN,
yes.
Which many Americans do, regardless of the fact that it is illegal. I asked a gaming analyst what he thought about this, and he said that considering where Resorts World is at right now with the Nevada...
This is a great account to follow. This guy's just interesting. Even if you don't care about gambling or Las Vegas, he's just great. And he has the inside scoop on everything. His name's Vegas Paulie C. So what he's saying is you can get in trouble as a casino because this guy went and bet $3 million, but he's sponsored by a company that's illegal in the United States. So that's money laundering. And you get invested as a casino because it's like this. Let's say I'm in the mafia and I owe Resorts World Casino $9 million, the people I work for. Well, I can't write them a check from the whatever family or cartel for $9 million. So what I'll do is I'll go and lose $9 million gambling. So when somebody does that, you get investigated anyway, and they want to know where the money came from. Keep going.
Gaming Commission. This shows extremely poor judgment. They are legal in Canada, and that is what Resorts World will defend itself with. But
yeah,
again,
it ain't
illegal in
Canada.
the United States. And there is serious speculation that a lot of that online gambling is staged. Comment in the chat if you know anything about this. Does this violate the Know Your Customers rule in Nevada? Very, very gray money came to Las Vegas yesterday from Roobet sponsorship. and from exposed. This is an interesting case. I'd be curious to see what happens with this Vegas policy.
You know why he's filming from the outside? Because that casino's banned him from being on the property, from doing so many stories that are negative to them. Next, casino comp wallet. I think he is on Instagram. Vegas policy. Mayor of Boston. Roll it.
Been working in Boston. It's been working so well that we're recognized nationally as the safest major city in the country. And we will continue to follow the law. The federal government has their purview. We don't enforce federal immigration law. Our police department takes care of criminal activity, and they focus on local issues. And whenever someone breaks the law, we hold them accountable.
Most of life is a popularity contest, and right now the Democrat Party is at 31% approval, so no one's going to back you. And this is the problem if you're, I think her name is Michelle Wu, is you're around liberals in Boston so much you don't realize, like, if you take this stand, same with Letitia James in New York, judges aren't going to back you. They're not going to go against the Department of Justice to help you. One thing we learned during COVID, people won't risk anything to lose their job. I mean, they'll risk their personal health to get vaccinated so they don't have to lose their job. What do you hear everybody say in the Nazi regime? What did you hear them say during COVID? If you ask those Canadian police officers that seized churches and broke into my sister's church every Sunday, what would they say? We were doing our job. We were doing what we're ordered to do. So people are not going to risk their livelihood to defend you. And you don't know that because you're only surrounded by a bunch of leftists in Boston. You're making a bad play, sis. Keep going.
Here, regardless of their immigration status, which we do not ask about and we do not interact with.
Yeah, good luck with that. Next. Catholic Aid Group downsizes in half after DOJ cuts off their coveted human trafficking funds. You know who was running all of the immigrants up from Central America into the United States were Catholic charities. And they were being funded by USAID, and now that's what you get if you take shoe latchets from the king of Sodom. None of these dead religions can raise any money. So they've had to do crooked things to get money, and now they're screwed. So best of luck. They're finished. I'm not going to play the video because it's 9 minutes long. Next. We funded Hamas's terror tunnels, the same tunnels, all the cement that we sent to Hamas, there's nothing being built. They were used for tunnels into Israel. $310 million for a Palestinian cement factory. They weren't for buildings. They don't build anything except tunnels. They're like the Ninja Turtles. Next. New York Post cover today. Border crossings dropped 90% after Trump crackdown. Again, folks, this is in 3 weeks. Guy's on a rampage. Next.
Has every past president for the last 20 years known about this corruption with USAID and just chose not to do anything about it?
Pause. How stupid are you? This is why I don't watch Newsmax. Well, on Newsmax too. Good Lord, if you can't make it on regular Newsmax, you must be... Sorry. Has every president not known about it, or did they just know about it? They participated in it, dumb. I'm done. I can't watch this dummy. Next. Justin Hart, the media. Elon Musk's $40 billion to buy Twitter could have ended world hunger, but the $40 billion that USAID spent is just so small it's not worth our time to scrutinize. You notice that? Think of all the things Elon Musk could have done with $40 billion. But now that they're cracking down on federal waste, the whole argument, it's a drop in the bucket to the $13 trillion we spend. Justin Hart, friend of the show. Next. Melissa Tate, another friend, not just of the show, personal friend. How I imagine Trump would drain the swamp, how he's actually draining the swamp. Pretty much. Next. More fake protests right on time. MSNBC highlights mass protests taking place all over the USA over USAID, Musk, Trump, executive orders, crowd growing daily. Here are the rallies that took place across the United States yesterday as Democrats urged Americans to take to the streets and protect the Republic in danger. Roll it.
Joining us this hour. All right. This was Austin, Texas today. Thousands of people marching through downtown Austin, Texas, ultimately converging on the state capitol today. The Austin American-Statesman reports that it was so loud outside that it was loud inside the Capitol building. in the Senate chamber and Capitol office.
Obviously, if people are standing outside of a building in a rally, it's going to be loud inside. What's it, soundproof? Great reporting, whoever works for your stupid Austin newspaper. Can you imagine still working for a newspaper in 2025? I'm telling you, people are going to go back to print. Nobody wants news right now. They want it the next morning. Trust me. Keep going.
They said it was loud enough to be heard, despite the fact that all these folks were outdoors. People who participated in this protest today in Austin, Texas, said as the march wound its way around the Capitol and through downtown, people in Austin just started flooding out of the buildings along the route of the march and joining the march.
Right. It's a worldwide movement.
This was Olympia, Washington today.
Wow.
This was
over
Richmond,
400
Virginia
lesbians
today. This was Trenton, New Jersey today.
Nobody has jobs anyway.
This was Columbia, South Carolina today.
Who fed the cats?
This was Sacramento. Look at this. This was Sacramento, California today. Look at that.
Wow, they were able to organize a leftist protest
Phoenix
in California.
In Arizona, which is, of course, the site
there
of
must
the
be
state
4
capitol,
dozen
but
people
Arizona
there.
was one of many states today where people didn't only demonstrate at the state capitol. Arizona also, for example, had a pretty significant protest turnout.
And then all of them got skin cancer for being in the sun for more than 3 hours in Arizona.
Is a state where yes, people protested at the state capitol today in Harrisburg, but people
Man,
also
there must be 80 people there
today in Pittsburgh and in Philadelphia in large numbers.
Pittsburgh's got like 36
in
people.
New York, there were protesters today at the state capitol in Albany, but in New York, there were also protesters today in Syracuse, and there were also protesters today in large numbers in New York City. There were protests today in Lansing, Michigan, and in Columbus, Ohio. Protests today in Springfield, Illinois. Large protests today in Chicago, Illinois. People turned out to protest today in the snow and bitter cold at the state capitol in the great state of Maine. And people turned out in icy, freezing rain at the state capitol in Indianapolis. There were protests today in Little Rock, Arkansas. There were protests today in Carson City, Nevada. Protests today in Concord, New Hampshire. Protests
Providence,
today
Rhode Island,
in Salt Lake
38
City, Utah.
people.
Protests today in Rhode Island at the Rhode Island State Capitol building. There were protests today at Hartford, Connecticut.
Yeah, we can read,
in Baton Rouge,
Rachel.
Louisiana. Protests today in Montpelier, Vermont. Protests today at Tallahassee, the state capital in Florida. Protests also in Tampa, large protests in Tampa.
Pause. I don't know. That's a large protest. I don't know. Keep going.
Protests today in Salem, Oregon, and protests today in Atlanta, Georgia.
There's like 9 people in Atlanta.
I could go on.
No, you couldn't. You read every possible city there's a protest
I
in.
missed a bunch, but
No, you
I think
didn't.
you're getting the flavor here.
Yeah, it's a national outcry.
There were
That's why your ratings are through the
all
floor.
over the country today. 2.5 weeks into this new administration, protests against the destruction of the federal government, protests against what appears to be the illegal mass firing of government officials and shutdown of government agencies that they are not by law allowed to shut down. Red hot anger at these protests today about the president allowing his top campaign donor to access the sensitive personal and financial and apparently now health-related information about all American citizens that is held in government computer systems. Him handing that information over to his top campaign donor, apparently without restriction and without regard to law. I mean, forgive me, but whatever genius strategists are telling people who are opposed to Trump, oh, hold your fire.
Pause.
Nobody's going to be...
You want to talk about genius strategy? Who was your candidate again? Some cackling alcoholic? Yeah, you got it all figured out, Rach. Go coach a softball team. Keep going.
Be upset yet. Nobody's going to be upset yet about what they're doing to immigrants and what they're doing to trans people and shutting off foreign aid. None of these are popular issues.
Pause.
Nope.
What's anybody doing to trans people? Nobody wants to go near them. They're not allowed to play in girls' children's sports. Nobody's killing them. They're welcome to hang out at wherever. I don't know what they do in their spare time. Keep going.
Nobody's going to care about giving the president's top donor all your private information without your consent. Nobody's going to care about these kinds of things, so don't complain yet.
Hey, dum-dum, weren't you for everybody having to reveal their vaccination status publicly to go eat at a restaurant 3 years ago? Go to a Subaru dealership and leave us alone. Keep going.
We'll complain later. Yeah. Any genius armchair strategists giving that kind of advice to the country right now, allow me to suggest that they are not in touch with how real people really do feel.
Really? You want to talk about genius strategy and being in touch with how people feel? Why don't you look at the Democrat approval numbers? You got a great head of hair, I'll give you that, and that's about it. You just got your ass kicked in the election. You think you're in touch with the country? Keep going.
About what really is just a lawless blitzkrieg.
A blitzkrieg?
2.5
Oh, really?
weeks of this new Trump.
Nazi army invasion?
The protests all over the country in red states and blue states, coast to coast today, these aren't even the first. These protests today follow the big protests against immigration arrests and deportations that happened this weekend, including protests that shut down a major freeway in Los Angeles.
Pause it.
They follow...
Yeah, you guys are always protesting because you don't have any jobs. But how many people didn't protest because they're happy about it? Just because you guys are loud because you can't get access to your hormone suppression medication anymore. Keep going, my lesbian friend.
Really quite large and quite dramatic, no notice, impromptu,
Pause.
dramatic.
That's large? It's not large. Keep going.
At the U.S. Treasury building in Washington last night. Like all these protests we're covering in
what an enormous
past few
crowd.
days, this came together on very, very short notice. I say it was effectively impromptu. This protest...
Simultaneously telling you how large it is while apologizing for how small it is. This large protest, there's not a lot of notice. It's cold out. People, one of the roads was closed. Keep going.
Treasury was not announced until Sunday night. For it to happen less than 48 hours later in Washington at the Treasury building, by the time it came together last night, there literally were thousands of people, and there were dozens of members of Congress as well.
Pause. Okay, so you're protesting the firing of federal employees, and what you want is for the entire Senate to be shut down from the federal employees. You're not bright. You probably smell bad. Keep going.
Crowd shouting there,
waving a mini golf putter.
Senate, meaning Democrats should use the power that they have in the Senate to shut
They don't
that
have
down
any power.
as a means of trying to stop or slow down or at least complicate the worst of what Trump is trying to do. And, you know, maybe that sounds like an extreme tactic, but even our usually shy major news outlets are starting to run little headlines here and there, raising a teeny tiny flag or two that everything they're doing appears to be quite illegal. I mean, this was the New York Times and the Washington Post simultaneously today. And the Times brazenly...
No way. The New York Times and Washington Post are against what Trump's doing? Then he must have really crossed the line. They've written articles critical of his Diet Coke and Big Mac consumption. They criticize everything he does. I mean, the balls on that lady to cite the New York Times and the Washington Post as like evidence of Trump's overreach. Trump's gone so far that even the Washington Post doesn't approve of him anymore. Keep going.
Defies laws in escalating executive power grab.
Pause it. If he's defied laws, bring a lawsuit. How come nobody's suing? So then stop it. Get an emergency injunction on what he's doing if it's a brazen violation of the law. Keep going.
In the Post, U.S. government officials...
How long is this?
...privately warn Musk's blitz appears illegal. Yeah, I don't know.
Pause. No wonder our ratings are so low. This show's on for an hour. I've been watching it for 4 minutes. I feel like I've gone through 4 years of the tribulation. You suck. Your show blows. Keep going.
And quiet these supposed warnings are at this point. They're not even warnings. They're just descriptions of what's happening. I mean, that same article from the Washington Post quotes an expert saying...
Are you still talking?
So many of these things are so wildly illegal.
I would take a meat cleaver to my throat if I had to do 2 more minutes of that. Keep going. Roll it.
I fought for her.
And I fought for her.
I fought for her.
For her.
For her. For her. I fought for her.
For her.
We fought for her.
And President Trump.
President Trump
Has fought for all of us.
for us.
He fights for us.
Fought for us.
President Trump fought for me. For us.
For us.
For us.
For us. For us. I'm so
Pause
grateful.
it on the lady with the, okay, like her. What were you fighting? I know this is about like not having transgender men and women sports. You're like 70. Were you going to play canasta? What sport were you being threatened with male athletes in? Bridge? Stratego? Keep going.
That President Trump has fought for us.
No, that's good. I don't know why I took a positive story and made it negative. Great job, ladies. My bad. It's early. Next. You got some of the Rachel Maddow bleed over. This week, I am creating the White House Faith Office led by Pastor Paula White. First time ever, there's going to be a faith office in the White House, direct access. Roll it.
This week, I'm also creating the White House Faith Office led by Pastor Paula White, who is so amazing.
Now, obviously, religious social media is flipping out, pointing out how much they don't like Paula White. Why would he choose her? I'll tell you why he chose her. She led him to the Lord and prayed with him and has been praying with him for about 15 years while you write mean stuff on the internet. Why doesn't he choose R.C. Sproul? Maybe he doesn't want to hang out with an 85-year-old miserable old man. And we're not against R.C. Sproul, but, you know, there's a reason. All the pastors that are writing online, why did he choose Paula White? There's a reason no one likes you. No one wants to be around you. No one's ever wanted to be around you. Probably the same reason people stay away from your church by the tens of millions. Probably the same reason, why did he pick Paula White instead of me? Probably for the same reason why when you go on YouTube, there's 2 people watching at a time, and one's by accident, and one's an account your wife made just so you don't feel bad. Next. Feels like a jailable offense. DEI backlash. Consulting firm PwC plans to host a conference this summer offering high-performing college students the opportunity to check out the company's career offerings, but excluding white and Asian applicants as part of its DEI initiative. What did Asians ever do to anybody? Consulting giant PwC discouraged. I don't get this. I don't get how anybody can't see the hypocrisy of this. Could you put something out? We're opening up job opportunities, but no blacks. No, you can't. So, you know why? Because it's wrong. And it's wrong to include, to put anything in that slot. No whites, no Asians is racism. In your attempt to not be racist, you're racist. It is a jailable offense. Next. Breaking. Football Manager 2025. How many people in the comments have ever played Football Manager? I used to play, and the rise in power of our ministry coincides with me stopping playing. So I used to play that game 18 to 20 hours a day, no problem. You didn't have to be online to play it. And I would carry a battery pack charger. I played it the entire flight from Washington, D.C. to Hawaii, 13 hours straight. And then when the plane landed, I was still playing because I was in the middle of, I didn't want to stop playing. And finally, the maintenance guys came on and said, sir, you're going to have to get off the plane. Everyone was off, including the pilots. I was wrapped up in it. It is hands down the most addictive game. It's cited every year in England in about 40 to 80 divorce cases. And I can totally see why. Because it's like, you're gone. Like when you once you log into that game, the outside world ceases to exist. You'd be more functional as a heroin addict than playing that game, I'm telling you. I'm dressed for both. But for the first time, they kept pushing the release date back. It's normally released in October. They pushed it to January. Then there was no news, and now they announced, rather than rushing one out, which I think sports games are going to start doing. I was reading more about it, that they barely have time to do anything in 1 year, so they're going to start doing them every other year, I think. It's a great game. If you play it, I'd love to hear your stories. Next. Watching bureaucrats you fired. Let me just tell you a little bit more about Football Manager. The more you describe it, the more boring it would sound. You control every aspect of the game. It has every player in the world, 15 years of age and older, in the database. There's a Nigerian ministry that I know that has an orphanage, and the orphanage has a soccer team. It's on the game with the players' names. So you play it on computer. So anyway, you don't play the game. You coach and build the team and stuff, which sounds like it would be boring, but the fact that you can't learn to beat the computer, and you're just watching a game, you end up like shouting at the computer, like, get back on defense, like stuff like that. So it actually makes it more intense. Watching bureaucrats you fired drive away in cars you made. Next. Big balls is triggering CNN's Karen panel. Roll it.
In the private information about maybe hundreds of millions of American citizens as young as 19, the big balls here.
Has CNN looked at their ratings? You're going to put these three skags in high definition? We're not in standard definition anymore. People watch in high definition. You're going to make us look at this, tear your eyeballs out, hat trick of skags. And that lady on the left looks like the wife of a Palestinian leader with that, what do they call that scarf? It's like a linen terrorist scarf. Where do you even get them? Urban Outfitters. Do you have any Palestinian I want to kill Jews apparel in that I can wear on CNN? Look at their faces. Look perma frown on the left. Then on the right, that lady's got a jaw like Rocky Marciano with her hair. Oh, yay. You know that lady in the middle had those two on just to make herself look pretty. Yeah, Kefier. You women have some explaining to do. You're deep down, most of you are awful people because you befriend ugly women to be your friends so you look prettier. You're not all of you, but some of you have some explaining to do. Play it from the beginning.
In the private information about maybe hundreds of millions of American citizens as young as 19, the big balls here that he's talking about. Most of them are in their early 20s. There's an exception I'm going to get to in a minute. I'm curious, though, Kara.
Pause.
How well does he...
Speaking of big balls, while Elon Musk trolls society, so one of his workers' names is Big Balls. While we were talking about video games, and then this story reminded me of it too, I don't know if anybody plays online sports games where you make your own player and play live, like on NBA or NHL. The more they restrict what words you can use in your name, the worse the names get. It's insane. And they're cracking down super hard. It is amazing the ability of people to outthink censorship. And it's like the names were much less offensive when there were no bannings. And now that they've banned all the common ones, the things people have thought of are insane. Play from the beginning.
In the private information about maybe hundreds of millions of American citizens as young as 19, the big balls here that Katie's talking about. Most of them are in their early 20s. There's an exception I'm going to get to in a minute.
They made you say it,
Kara,
you dummy.
How well does even Musk know these young men, do you think?
Pause.
I have no idea.
What kind of question? Yeah, good answer. The questions the liberal media asks. How long has Musk known these men, do you think? No one knows. They all think they can mind read. What Trump really wants to do is he wants to become a new Hitler, and he wants to annex all Yeah, really? What are you getting that from? Some type of X-Men power to see into his mind? Continue.
There's no...
Oh, that's it. They made you say big balls. They won, you lost. Next. When you're finding fraud and someone yells stop, that's who's doing the fraud. Jim from The Office. Next. Wait, has Dodge been pulling numbers from, this is Mark Cuban, who's just lost touch with reality, from usaspending.gov, then releasing them as if they discovered them? If so, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Fooled me, Elon Musk, very Trump-like too. Are his PR skills rubbing off on you? Apparently, total U.S. government funding of Politico was $34 million. Okay, keep going. So this is Data Republican. Do you remember I would use her on the election shows all the time? Because she was breaking down county by county and made like 9 or 10 extremely accurate predictions. Every one of them was right. Did you know she had like 2,000 followers when we started putting her on? Now she has 340,000 followers, and they gave her a job. Elon Musk put her at Doge as the main person. Amazing. I'm not reading all this, but she just makes Mark Cuban look like an idiot because she just tells how we got the data. It's not a mystery. Next. Pam Bondi announced that she will be pursuing U.S.-based individuals and entities that provide funding for Hamas. It's going to be a bad year for a lot of people that aren't check the news people. Next. Searches for if this was the only thing Trump did in 4 years, this is amazing. Searches for abortion on the Centers for Disease Control website now prompts the suggestion to look up adoption. Next, LFG. Love, faith, godliness. This is the single funniest image in the history of cable news. The longer you look at it, the better it gets. They got you. Look at that ugly. Let me tell you, the left wing and the right wing on this line. The lady on the right, who hurt you? You're carrying so much trauma in your eyes. Next. Butler changed something in me. I feel even stronger. I believed in God, but I feel much more strongly about it. Roll it.
Honestly, it changed something in me. I feel even stronger. I believed in God, but I feel much more strongly about it. Something happened. So, thank you.
I believe that.
Thank you.
A little brush with death usually draws people closer to God. Next. When I wrote this in 2022, I thought it was a pipe dream, that both parties were so insanely corrupt no one was ever going to stop the government leeches. Thanks, Doge. Thinking about starting a political party called Stop Spending American Tax Dollars on Stupid SHIT, and it's happening. Next. She was super anti-Trump, too, as a conservative. And, you know, all the people, it's like Trump built such a team that even if you didn't like him, it would be hard not to like that whole cabinet. There's got to be somebody on there that you're glad's in power. Ilhan Omar, USAID is the reason I'm here and not in Somalia. Literally everyone. That's why we want to get rid of it. Next. We already played it. Next. Oh, my God. These are the people protesting Trump and Elon across the U.S. It's always the people you least expect. Roll it.
All right, guys. I'm getting ready to go to the 50 states, 50 protests today. So if any of you are in Wisconsin, head to the Capitol today. And if any of you, any states, these are happening across all 50 states today, head to your Capitol and protest. Let our voices be heard and be safe. So, I'm thinking maybe I might go live with it. I don't know. We'll have to see. But just stay safe if you are. And if you can't do it, at least be there in spirit and in voice. Let your voice be heard. Stay safe, everyone.
So you're going to the capital in Wisconsin? Wisconsin, I'm starting to realize, is like fat Vermont. It has that like liberal edge to it, but the people are a little meatier from the sausages and cheese. I'm not going to make any derogatory comments about how the women look in Wisconsin, but I'm starting to understand the massive amount of breweries. Next. Free Palestine. I'll take it. He misunderstood the sign. You could just have it. Next. Justin Hart. I'm 100% behind Elon Musk. Elon's superpower is something the GOP has lacked for a long time. Justin Hart, who I like, ruined his, maybe he can get it back, but he ruined his online. He used to get, 5,605 views. You know why he went against Trump? Everybody did that. They're done. People should have seen it. It wasn't DeSantis' time, and DeSantis is a little bit of a backstabbing prick that when we all know Trump got submarined in 2020 and you took it as your job to usurp him. Not good. Next. You paid for this. Next. Joe Rogan reacts to the most. We did it. Next. Stunning view. Now, we've been very hard on Canada for basically 5 years, but here's something that Canada has that might be the jewel of the whole country, the Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel, which, let me save you since I went to check it out ahead of time. That's not a 1 week vacation place. That's a 2-day, unless you ski, that's a two-day vacation place, but worth checking out. Roll it. Look at that hotel. Me and Jay drove there, 8 hours one way, had breakfast, 8 hours back. We had church that night. We left from church, 8 hours to see it,
8 hours back. Made it back to the hotel at 6:20, changed clothes, went to church at 7. Next. You know, when people say that, like Karen, I'm not picking on you. Banff is on my bucket list. Just do everything on your list. It's like me. I was 8 hours, so drive, do a 16-hour round trip. Kara, how far are you? How far a drive from Banff are you? Somebody keep an eye on it in case I miss it. So with U.S. aids being shuttered and the mainstream media losing the majority of their funding, how exactly do the Democrats plan on winning a single election in the midterms? It would seem to me they're proper not going to do it. Because they paid everyone to run cover for them. Now they don't have that anymore. Next. Been out all day putting Trump stickers on rioters' cars, then sitting back watching them destroy each other's cars. Next. Gaza 2025, Gaza 2026. And look, for any complaining anybody wants to do about what Trump's going to do with Gaza, look what you did to it. Maybe just give him a chance. You didn't really do a good job, I would say. Looks like somebody played Sim City on acid. Next. Northern Kentucky. All right. Now put in Google how far a drive it would be or how much a flight would be to Calgary. Get your passport and just go. Abandon your family and your job. See what happens when you come back. This caller cooked him. Another senator that's using pastor ties. Roll it.
And I would add this.
Rep, I think.
The president should be impeached. I said that on the floor of the House. He should be impeached, but I'm not saying that it would be necessarily for what happened in Gaza. There's a target-rich environment. There are many things that may be placed in these articles of impeachment, but it should be because he's unfit to be president. Unfit. And when these impeachment signs start going up around the country, when people see these signs, I assure you, the pressure is going to be on Congress to do something.
Pause.
Impeachment.
No, it's not. You don't have control of Congress. Also, check the approval ratings. Trump's approval is like 18 points higher than his first term. And your party has a 31% approval rate. You live in a fantasy world, which is called Washington, D.C. Keep going.
That he will be removed from office. But it will say to the country that this is what we stand for. It's been said that the protests don't have a plan. Well, the plan is here. This is the plan.
Yeah, you're going to write impeach Trump on index cards.
Impeach later.
It's a great plan.
Let's get to calls because the lines have lit up. Richard,
Thanks,
Savannah,
Patty.
Georgia, Republican. You're up first, Richard.
Thank you. I watched you yesterday with the Democrat Party out protesting everything that Elon Musk is trying to do to the American people. The USAID is a 100% a money laundering scheme around the world, kickbacks back to the Democrat Party, whether it's through the Clinton Foundation in Haiti, $4.4 billion, and $84 million went to her daughter, Chelsea Clinton. All y'all have is impeachments and race and gender, et cetera, and you actually do nothing for the people of America today. I think the Democrats should sit back and let America see what it's like to reduce the people in government.
How is his face permanently like that? It's like somebody in the middle of getting maced. Just as like I don't understand how someone's face can just be like that, like as your default face. So then how do you look when you squint? Like if you were to look at the sun, how does your face change? Anyway, just things I wonder. Keep going.
But the wasteful spending. And all y'all can do is just complain and be negative. And we're sick of it. And also,
Richard, let's have the congressman
Yeah, cut him off before he nails his head to the wall. Next. Odds, Polymarket odds of Trump nominees being confirmed. Pam Bondi, 100%, because she's confirmed. Tulsi Gabbard, 98%. Kash Patel, 97%. RFK Jr., 95%. They're all going in, despite what turtle-faced Mitch McConnell thinks. Could have another stroke. Next. Hillary's statement back then finally makes sense. Remember they discovered this email? If that FB wins, we all hang from nooses. Matt Lauer's finished, and if I lose, it's all in your heads for screwing this up. You better fix this. They knew it. Now it's happening. Poor Bill. I mean, sin's sin. You made the vow to stay faithful, but I get it. Next. Rep,
Cynthia Loomis? Yes. Lists, it should be, programs USAID wasted money on. Roll it.
Here are some of the ways the last administration
Pause.
have
Why are you dressed like Thomas Jefferson? Keep going.
wasted your money. More than $4.5 million to combat disinformation in Kazakhstan. And just whose disinformation is it? I think that's probably in the eye of the beholder. $20 million for a new Sesame Street show in Iraq.
Speaking of which, do you have the video?
$25 million.
Did I send you the video of the Sesame Street in Iraq?
To promote green transportation.
Let's just, okay, we know they're wasting money left and right. So here is the Sesame Street from Iraq. Roll it.
السلام عليكم يا جماعة. أهلا وسهلا فيكم. خلينا ندللكم على الحروف الأبجدية. يلا خلينا نبدأ.
Play it one more time. It's a good show for 20 million.
يا جماعة. أهلا وسهلا فيكم. خلينا ندللكم على الحروف الأبجدية. يلا خلينا نبدأ.
Bert's a jihadist. Almost a jihadist. All right, one more and I'll leave it alone.
السلام عليكم يا جماعة. أهلا وسهلا فيكم. خلينا ندللكم على الحروف الأبجدية. يلا خلينا نبدأ.
That's what we need to make for a shirt. We need to do a jihadist Bert and Elmo and then put Sesame Street Baghdad. I know it might take a little bit, but that's going to be the shirt today. No, Baghdad Sesame Street. And then put a USAID logo on it. I'm really looking forward to seeing those in revival meetings with people crying with their hands lifted. It keeps me, sometimes when I'm like, I don't know, I'm like just busy preaching all year and you're kind of like an autopilot, those shirts just will like snap me out of it and put some joy, especially when you like church women will wear a check the news shirt with like a matching blazer and you like dress it up. It's just funny to me. So thanks for making my life better. Next. Fetterman, I fully support Trump's plan to send U.S. troops to take over Gaza. This is like a dream world. We got a senator dressed like he's the manager of a Spencer's Gifts. Next. He destroyed her. Roll it.
Congressman just ended the race debate in a few seconds.
Please keep Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s name out of your mouths. When he was a proud and unapologetic black man fighting for equality for black Americans and all marginalized people.
I appreciate my Democrat colleague for exemplifying exactly the kind of oppression of freedoms that we're referencing. How about we'll quote whoever we want to quote? How about that's my First Amendment right? How dare a white Republican quote Martin Luther King? We actually had a congressman say that just now in this committee. And thank you, good lady, for once again exemplifying the type of oppression that we stand against. We will continue to speak freely because I'm a veteran. That's the country that I serve. That's the Constitution I swore allegiance to. That oath has no expiration date.
I don't know where that guy's from or where he represents, but he's got such a thick Baton Rouge accent. I'm surprised while he's speaking, a plate of beignets doesn't just manifest. Next. According to a report to the MME, Jordan threatens war with Israel if Palestinians are forcibly expelled into its territory. Now, here's the problem. Here's a potential problem. Is Trump doing all this stuff? If you are going to cripple people's economy with your tariffs and stuff, you do brew war. You know, it's not like people are just going to be like, well, you got the best of us. What can we say? You know, there could be some blowback. But he knows that. So let's see how he mitigates it. Next. Lego Museum says Legos can be anti-LGBT, says the Science Museum, because the Seeing Things Queerly tour claims people think the toy bricks are gendered and reinforces the idea that heterosexuality is the norm because you have to find one thing that plugs into the sockets of the other thing. So then if you're going to do that, good luck having any electricity. It's not going to work. It's tough luck there. Think queerly. Another thing I don't understand is you're not allowed to say the word queer, but then they identify that way. I don't get it. I don't get who's queer. Because you got L, lesbian, get that. G, gay. B, bisexual, I get that. T, which is now gone, and then you have Q. So queer is what? What is the Q different than the L or G or B? I feel like queer is just like leftover gays from the 80s that haven't updated their... They're just like sticking with old offensive words. Anyway, next. Look at this cutie. A Michigan lawmaker has sterilized herself to avoid becoming pregnant while Trump is president. I don't think it's going to be a problem. Untouchable in a men's prison. Next. Could have saved the money. CNN panelist. There's white supremacy. Well, really a CNN panelist crying out about white supremacy? Roll it.
It's not about, it's about making sure that there is white supremacy in this country. And if we're honest, we will say that. It is about making sure, we will make sure that people who, DEI is really all these code words. You used to use woke. I asked you to define what woke meant. You couldn't really define it for me. Tell me what it means again.
Woke ideology is taking extreme views of American culture and trying to tear down America from the inside out and go outside of our cultural norms and invade every corporation.
Can you finish defining? Can you shut your mouth for 2 seconds?
Tell me that's incorrect. But what is DEI? Tell me again.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion, trying to guarantee outcomes instead of guarantee opportunity.
Trump's cabinet looks like DEI.
I was speaking. If I could just finish. I want us to not get off the rails because
don't get off the rails. Your whole show's like this every night. Dumb.
A whole swath of voters and saying they voted because they're racist or misogynist, not
I didn't
because
say. Those were my words, yours. But go ahead.
Okay, but they're voting because of their policy.
I said it was
Democrats will keep losing if they do that.
All the voters were white supremacists, but it's not about eggs. She said it was about pocketbook issues.
Has Carrie Champion ever been married? And if so, like, when did she get divorced? There's no chance anyone could live in a house with her. It's not like a pet that gets locked in. Anybody that knows how to work locks would never stay in a house with. No joy in the eyes. They got the same face. You can spot liberals because they're not happy people. I don't know what the deal is. You don't see a lot of like glowingly happy. Other than, you know what? Some gay men look super happy because they don't have a lady like that at home sucking the life out of them. Next. But I don't see like bubbly lesbians much. They look like angry. Probably just had a
Bad result at the softball game or whatever. First female referee throws flag on play but won't say what's wrong. Next. Democrat activist Olivia Giuliana says she lost 50 pounds since Trump was inaugurated because she can't afford food. Well, it's a good start. Next. Oh, wait. No.
We will only be heard if we vote. As the saying goes, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu.
I bet you're at the table. Next. You got a good collection. She's the first one. Can I take your menu? No! All right, normally we take them. Should we trust black women who voted for Trump? Says lady's got to trust black women. Watch the cognitive dissonance on her face when she gets asked this question. Roll it.
What does this sign mean to you?
You know, black women are probably the least respected in America. Their voices aren't heard. Their issues aren't paid attention to. Many white women look beyond their own personal interests, and they leave black women out of the conversation. And I think America needs to change about that.
I'm telling you, if you're black, let me just take this from a white guy. These white people that talk like this, they're overcompensating for the fact that they've got no involvement whatsoever with any black people ever. That's why everybody put black squares up in May of 2020, because they didn't have any pictures of them with a black person. They just had to use a square. You think this lady's ever seen a black person that wasn't on the set of Family Matters? Keep going.
What are we not trusting them to do right now?
How to care for our country, how to care for each other, how to stand up and fight for things that aren't right.
Millions of black women voted for Trump. Should we trust them?
Gotcha.
I'll take your hand in mine.
I don't think that's true.
It is true.
Millions of black women voted for Trump?
Way too many. It is.
Should we trust
What, do
them?
they got a makeup ban at the protest?
I don't know.
Maybe not trust black women then.
That's not true. I do trust black women.
Who'd vote for Kamala Harris?
I think...
Pause. People have never thought through their argument. You are stupid and ugly. It's a terrible combination. That's why you're alone. You have no redeeming qualities. At least Paris Hilton or Kim Kardashian are pretty, so they're stupid. People give them a pass. You can't have their level of stupidity and look like that. You got to pick something that you have. You got to be smart and ugly. Or pretty and dumb. But you can't be both. Dumb and ugly. You're going to be standing by yourself with a sign facing the wrong direction and a weird hat and a frown. And some type of sunglasses. I don't even know where you buy those. Nobody loves these people. So you think I'm mean, but I'm helping. If you were this lady's friend, you'd tell her that. Hey, listen, things are going to be really hard for you in life because you're really stupid and really ugly. You got to start reading. Or get a ton of surgery and hit a gym. But you can't be looking like that, talking like that. I'm telling you this because I love you. Keep going.
He wants to know if I trust the black women who voted for Trump.
I think they voted against their own.
What are you asking her for? Is that your Obi-Wan Kenobi? The one lady that's uglier than you? What are you using for shampoo? Crisco? Holy moly, where'd you two find each other? In a home with no mirrors? Scary Champion ever married?
Yeah, she has a husband currently.
She has a husband now? How long they been married? Year and a half.
Doesn't say how long, but he's a white dude.
I want to see a picture of him. He's got to have like that soul. I got the soul beat out of me. Look, I don't have the energy to fight. Why does she have to ask? You know, isn't this odd to anybody? Do you only trust black women that vote for Kamala, or do you trust black women that vote for Trump? Why do you have to ask her? What is she, like your demon host? Why does she get to answer for you while you look on confused? Do you know how much effort it takes to look ugly in sunglasses? And both these women pulled it off. Usually sunglasses camo any ugliness. You guys should look into becoming Shia Muslim women with sunglasses, because then nobody would know. Keep going.
interests, so it's really hard to put the idea of trust together with someone who is continuing to vote against themselves, right?
So it sounds like they don't have very good judgment.
Yeah, I'm not sure that it's not having good judgment. I don't think they necessarily connect the dots, and I do.
They're stupid.
No, they're not stupid, but I think it's.
This guy acts gay enough that it throws. Maybe he is gay, but he like acts gay enough interviewing that it throws the liberals off the scent that he's against them. It's genius. Whoever this guy is, he's genius. Apparently, this lady was able to formulate her own thought in the 2 minutes listening to her buddy there. Looked like they should be the right and left guard for the Los Angeles Rams. Keep going.
Just asking, but it is hard to trust people who are stupid and have bad judgment, right? And black women who vote for Trump are stupid and have bad judgment.
No, we did not say that. No.
I think they don't connect. They don't connect the dots, and so
There's so much going on. Why do you have a T-shirt over a Columbia Goose Down jacket? I thought those were sleeves of a. People don't love people. You know, you think I'm mean, but anybody let anybody out of the house like that, that lady's got nobody in her house that loves her. You know, if your wife comes down the stairs looking like that, you don't love her if you go to where you're going. You love her if you say, hey, why don't we go back upstairs and try again? See what else we can pull out of the closet. Keep going.
Looking at only certain things and thinking that's important and not connecting the dots.
It sounds like those black women need to be educated by white women like you.
Yeah, not
true.
That's what you're
just
saying.
Need a good white woman to come in and tell them what's up.
You're putting words in our mouths again, and you're trading it.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to do that.
This idea that white people are going to be the white saviors pisses me off.
But that's
if
what
white
you're
women
saying.
like you don't educate them, how are they ever going to learn to vote the way that they're supposed to vote?
You know, as a white woman, I'm happy to help educate and talk to people, but it's not my job to go convince somebody else.
I hope you're able to get through to some of those untrustworthy, stupid
you
black women.
lying skag. Because what are you doing? You're at a protest trying to convince people to do something differently than they're doing. But he caught you with your sad face. Keep going.
Good luck.
All right, let me see. Yep. There you go. Doughy, estrogen-filled face. Just getting his hat handed to him on a daily basis. Make the bed. Won't tell you again. You know, I've never made a bed in my life. I lived with my mom, my sister, my grandma. My grandma was an older Polish lady. She'd get mad if I tried to do anything. Why are you making the bed? I don't make it good enough. Why are you ironing your shirt? You don't like how I do it? Why are you putting your clothes in the hamper? You don't like me picking it up off the floor? It's great training. Poor Dallas. Next. Dallas, when I come home off the road, the house is like it's ready to be shown in a magazine, and I'm literally home like 36 hours, and it looks like it got raided by the FBI. What's this? How long? 3 minutes. Next. Roll it.
I don't understand. So you're Muslim?
I am, yeah.
But you live in Israel?
I do, yeah.
Are you Zionist?
I am, yeah. I am an Arab Muslim who lives in Israel. Ask me anything.
Hi guys.
Assalamu alaikum.
How you doing?
So, you Arab, right? I am Arab, yes. I'm Arabic.
Where are you from though?
I'm from Israel. I grew up there.
Pause.
My family was born there.
If you're going to talk a bunch of pro-Israel stuff, I'd keep your eye on the guy in the Saudi Arabian flag hoodie. You're pro-Israel? As he reaches for a dagger. Keep going.
What was it like for you living in an open-air prison?
I didn't live in an open-air prison. From my perspective, I never faced any sort of prejudice from Israelis in general. For me, the vast majority of, I would say, bad things that I experienced came from my Arab brethren who lived in the same area that I live, who looked at me and called me names such as abd, which is slave in Arabic.
You literally just told me that.
That's right. Muslims have put 10 black people in slavery for every one that were put in slavery by Christian nations. And another major difference is Christian nations have stopped a long time ago. So all the people that fight slavery like it's not going on anymore, You're trying to help people that descend. There's actual black slaves now. And they're all in Muslim countries, in China. Keep going.
You're not oppressed or did not feel oppressed, but they called you derogatory slurs. It
wasn't Israeli Jews. It was Arabs who called me derogatory terms.
I don't believe that.
Sadly.
Yeah, so because it doesn't line up with what you were taught with your Syrian flag sweater, you just think he's lying. No, that can't be. No. And let me tell you, if there's any black Muslims watching this in America, you are not on equal footing in their book. And if America was ever conquered and became a caliphate, you'd be a slave, or you'd at least be second class to an Arab Muslim. That's a fact. You can walk around with a headscarf on and tattoos. Everything you have violates the Quran in America. Keep going.
It was my experience.
You're kind, the Jews.
I'm not a Jewish.
What are you?
I am Muslim.
Why are you carrying their flag?
I am Muslim. It's my country. It's my country's flag. I lived in Israel all my life. I lived with Jews. I worked with Jews. I worked with Arab. 20% of Israel population is Arab population. All of them have Israeli citizenship.
I want to know your perspective about, especially the claims about apartheid in Israel. People say that you guys are mistreated.
For me, it's wrong because the facts on the ground speak otherwise. For example, if I worked in the Israeli parliament. I worked in an Israeli news organization that is called Haaretz. And most of the people I work with were Arab Israelis, and that would never happen in a parliament.
This is a great video because people don't know that about Israel. There's a huge Arab population, and they coexist. And then so they make it like Israel's an apartheid state. Show me an Arab country that allows Jews on their governing board. So brainwashed. And they, instead of realizing you've been brainwashed, you tell a guy that lived there who's telling you what it's like, I don't believe you because I heard differently at my gender studies class at New York University. Keep going.
Apartheid state. Right. I graduated from Israeli University.
Yeah, there's a good amount of Palestinians, right?
But you had also other Israelis who identify as Palestinians. Also had Palestinians who come from the West Bank who studied at my university.
I see. Oh, that's beautiful.
To anyone that doesn't support the state of Israel and its fight against terrorism, what is one biggest misconception that you wish people would understand about your society, about your people, about your government?
I want the Palestinians to have a better life. I really do. We are not fighting the Palestinians. We're fighting Hamas and the Islamic Jihad, who are backed by the Iranian regime, who obviously don't care about Israel or about the Palestinians who live in Israel. For example, the last barrage attack, the missile that they launched in Israel killed only one person. He was a Palestinian from Gaza, who was in West Bank.
Yeah, I agree on this. We don't.
I mean, if you don't think the curse is real and the blessing's real, one missile got through and it killed a non-Jew. I'm telling you. I'd get on the right side of God. Keep going.
We and the Palestinians, we need to have a conversation. We need to have a genuine conversation, sit on a table like we and you doing right now, and be able to look in each other in the eyes and say, okay,
it's never going to happen, but
that's
right.
Anywhere, and neither are the Jews are going anywhere.
I hope that there will be peace one day.
Hopefully. I think we're already on the way.
You're a great person. There's the way that you're out here trying to talk to people is noble, and I appreciate that.
Lovely speaking to you. Remind me of your name?
My name is Tamer.
Tamer.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Have a good one. Appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Have a good one.
Have a good day.
FFP. Facts for peace. How are we doing on the shirt? Encourage us, Britt Gusmus. This montage. It caught me off guard. Let me see the video one more time. Hey, I'm with you, brother. Father, thank you for everybody that's watching today. Thank you for blessing their lives. Lift every issue of concern. that anybody's facing today. In Jesus' name, we give you our lives in this early afternoon. We give you this day. Thank you for goodness and mercy that follows us all the days of our life. Thank you that as we make Jesus our shepherd, we won't want or lack for anything. We receive that promise today in Jesus' name. If you've never received Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, you should do that today, because sooner or later everything is going to go down in Jerusalem, just like the Bible says. Say this out loud. Heavenly Father, I admit that I've sinned. I repent. I believe in my heart you raised Jesus from the dead. I confess with my mouth Jesus is Lord and my Savior. Right now, I receive forgiveness. By the blood of Jesus, I am saved. In Jesus' name, amen. If you prayed that prayer, welcome to the family of God. Please do what it says on the bottom of that screen. Go to revivaltoday.com and click I Just Got Saved. When you fill that out completely, I'm going to send you a Bible and 2 other books to help you live the Christian life, but I got to hear from you. So do that. Revivaltoday.com, click I Just Got Saved. You know, when they announced that Paula White is going to be the head of the thing, they put together a bunch of video montages of things she said as to how she's like a bad choice. I was thinking, good Lord, if people waded through, if they ever made me the head of it and they waded through like one episode of Check the News, be like, not only are we removing you as head of the Faith Commission, we're putting you in Guantanamo Bay as a danger to the world. What else we got? No T-shirt yet, right? Let's do that. Make Gaza great again. Perfect. I love it. Make sure we get a little Check the News on the sleeve, and that'll be good. So that'll be our gift today, along with the Baghdad Sesame Street. So that one's not finished yet, but you can get a mental picture, and we'll show it to you the next time we do Check the News. That's my way of saying thank you. We feed 5,000 kids every morning. We are starting a church in Los Angeles. I'm believing for 500 of our friends and partners that'll sow a $2,000 seed as we get ready to head into Los Angeles. So if you'll do that, I'll say thank you. I'm thankful anyway that you watch whatever you give, but if you're one of the 500 that give the 2,000, a special thank you. And we'll send the shirts out to you as a way of saying thank you to everybody who gives today. Text GIVE to 75767. Every way to give is on revivaltoday.com. You click Give Now. And then you can mail a large check. Revival Today, P.O. Box 7, Prosperity, Pennsylvania, 15329. Don't forget to claim your offer at revivaltoday.com. Claim my offer. That way you pick the size of your shirt and we know where to mail the gift. Pastor Jonathan, somebody wrote. That's me. It's true. All right. Oh, yeah, a couple of things to announce. Tonight, final night here in Wisconsin. The Way Church, service times, Sunday tonight, 7 p.m. at the Sonesta Milwaukee West Hotel, 10499 West Innovation Drive, Wauwatosa, Wisconsin, 53226. You can register on revivaltoday.com/events. And when you do that, what's up, Pastor Emily? Thanks for having me in this week, you and Pastor Josh. When you register, we'll send you a gift as a way of saying thank you for letting us know you're coming. It's free to attend. Then, next week, if you'll help me get the word out for this, I'd appreciate it. February 13th, 7 p.m. at the Ahern Luxury Hotel on the Strip. This weekend, I will be in Pittsburgh, at Revival Today Church, Pittsburgh, 8 a.m. and 10 a.m., and 9 a.m. in Watauga, Texas, Fort Worth area, Revival Today Church. Me and Dallas. Dallas has been doing great. Really preaching like 10 times better than I've ever heard her preach. She's on fire. I think she's going to pass me this year. You know, her women's group just broke 2,000 women in the women's mentorship, and then they showed the heat map of where all the women are from, and it's everywhere. It's amazing. RTCregister.com. You'll enjoy that, and that's free. She'll make you a better person, show you how to live life.
Then we have Radcliffe, Kentucky, Abundant Life Church, February 16th through the 21st, Sunday to Friday, 7 p.m. Then you can come see me in Dallas. You got to get a ticket for this because it's at a convention, and we're broadcasting at a convention. I'm not, so they don't just let in the public. But it'd be worth going to. I'd love to meet you. If you're there, I'll take time to meet you. If you're not nuts. National Religious Broadcasters Convention, February 25th to the 26th. We're going to broadcast there all day, and then everybody's there from Christianity, so we're going to have a ton of guests. It's going to be fun. Breaking news, train explosion in Philadelphia. Is that true? It's not good. What? But it would probably a small flight. Yeah, that happens more regularly. I'm not seeing the Philly train. Phoenix, February 28th, 7 p.m., Hilton Phoenix Tapatio Cliffs Resort. Then we have a huge meeting, pre-launch meeting, rtcregister.com. If you're going to come to our church in L.A., then register and be a part of this meeting because we could use you. If you're a Christian already and stuff, let's work together to win Los Angeles to Christ. February 22nd, 1 p.m. at Angelus Temple. Then, first week of March is huge. Revival Today Church Los Angeles launch, March 1st, 6 p.m. Angelus Temple, that's Saturday. Saturdays at 6 until the coming of the Lord. And then March 2nd through the 7th, Pursuit Northwest. And by the way, I'll be doing Revival Today Church in between Sunday. The Pursuit Northwest, March 2nd through the 7th with the great pastor Russell Johnson, Sunday to Friday, 7 p.m., 4740 17th Avenue Northeast, Seattle, Washington, at one of our nation's great churches with one of our nation's great young pastors. That's going to be an awesome week. Jennifer said, Boston conference, who's coming? Adalis is going to do a tour. I said, that's a great idea. She said it was your idea. I completely forgot. Boston, Massachusetts, March 24th. Newark, New Jersey, March 25th. Los Angeles, California, March 26th. Fort Worth, Texas, March 27th. Those are all free to attend, but you need to register, rtcregister.com, 7 o'clock. Boston, Newark, Los Angeles, Fort Worth. I will see you tonight here in Milwaukee. I love you. Hope you enjoyed these morning sessions from the hotel room where we're doing the meeting. I've really enjoyed this. Great job to the Revival Today media team for getting this hooked up, error-free, no drops, no problems. Great job, guys. Thanks to Pastor Josh and Emily Waldock and their beautiful family for having me in. It's been an awesome week. We'll close it out tonight at 7. Dallas and Camila, if you see this, I will see you late tonight. Can't wait. For myself, everybody here, I love you. Good night.
Los Angeles, a city of dreams, creativity, and influence. But it's also a city with a profound spiritual legacy. Over a century ago, the Azusa Street Revival erupted here, sparking a global Pentecostal movement that transformed lives and shaped the church worldwide. At the heart of this legacy stands Angelus Temple, founded in 1923 by Amy Semple McPherson. This historic place became a beacon of hope and revival, where faith movements were born and countless lives encountered the power of God. Angelus Temple didn't just impact Los Angeles, it changed the world. Smith Wigglesworth, a minister of bold faith and marvelous miracles, preached the incorruptible Word of God with demonstrations of power in the walls of this spiritual epicenter. History was made here before, and now, Revival Today Church is stepping into that legacy. We're not just continuing the story, we're writing the next chapter. Revival Today, Los Angeles.
Jonathan Shuttlesworth, dressed as a therapist, to invite you to join me in the greatest city in the whole world, Las Vegas, Nevada, as we do a meeting on the Strip again, the day before Valentine's Day, February 13th, 7 p.m. If you're single, you can go and tell everyone you have a date, and hopefully no one will ask any follow-up questions. It's going to be a great night. See you there. I'm Jonathan Shuttlesworth, and I've met a lot of pastors on the road that wanted to have a revival but weren't sure how to go about setting it up. So I wanted to do this video to tell you a couple things. Number one, I'm sure you see somebody flying around in a jet and think, what is the enormous expense to have you come to our church? The answer is, it's zero. Acts 20:34, the Apostle Paul said, I've always taken care of my expenses and the expenses of those who travel with me. We have no minimum requirements. We have no honorarium. Our team is taken care of by us. We book our own hotels. I've done that my whole traveling ministry. All we do is receive a love offering as Paul instructed in the Bible. That's it. We're not under any financial pressure, and we don't put you under any financial pressure. Secondly, what I do is a little different than what a lot of other traveling ministries do. We don't do conferences and we don't do ticketed events. I don't generally do one-night meetings. I like revivals. I like seeing a church explode with the power of God. Sinners get saved. As the week goes on, sinners bring more people. And really, you can see 10 years of church work accomplished in 1 week of a strong revival meeting. That's what I like to see done. I don't care about the size of the church. I care about seeing God hit the place, and whatever you start with, seeing it multiply. So what does it take for me to come to your church if you're interested? An invitation. So the information for an invitation is on the screen. I look forward to hearing from you, genuinely. If you're a pastor and you want to see God shake your region, I will partner with you in that. I want to see that happen. So I'll look forward to hearing from you. And